This one's wife. Why did she blink so much? Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. This one's wife paid to have a peripheral speaking slot at Fortune's Women of Power Summit. She wasn't a main speaker, and she turned up and spoke for around 13 minutes or so, answering a set of questions which she had already had sight of and delivering a lot of beige word salad. Don't just take my word for it. Have a listen to some people that have commented upon the video that has been placed by Associated Press showing her performance. Hopefully, when William takes the throne, the drama queen will lose her title. Can't wait, writes Diamond Jewel. MM7365 writes, this one's wife was not just outstanding person that they chose to come and speak. She is paid $14,500 a year to be part of this group, so it's pay to play. She paid for this appearance. Sonia Torres, chicken legs, talks about nothing. Laura Ghazi, as ever, another boring word salad from the pathological liar. Diane E. Clarkson, it's like watching a kid play grown-up business lady, tossing out terms in not the quite right context. Mimi West, this is a joke, right? JMM Jam, show me the numbers, plus she lies. Evelyn Knockenden, online harms, question mark. Minimum, how can a person talk and never say anything? Willart, this interview feels like a scene from a badly written Hallmark movie about a girl boss. Potter Duck, this is embarrassing. Lecca N, scaling what? Online reselling of pre-manufactured dry flower petals with a label slapped on it? No. Clee2598, the FDA regulates jam. They have told this one's wife her product doesn't qualify as jam. She knows that it is a spread. Jam sounds better and sells better, but it's a spread. It has lemon juice added. Jam has to be 100% fruit, no juice added. This makes it runny and not as sweet as real jam. How many times does she say jam? C. Bennett 2194. Her outfit is nice, but honestly, she says nothing of value. This forum is for serious business women. The only experience she has to offer is 25 years ago when she wrapped packages and served yogurt. Come on! Why do people fall for her pretentious word salad? User FW3Y. She's one of the worst communicators around today. Nonsense babble that pretends to be intelligent. I can't make my mind up whether she's so ignorant that she doesn't realise she talks nonsense, or she knows she talks nonsense and is gaslighting her hosts and public, arrogantly continuing with it and expecting no one to challenge her. Charlotte Fort, this woman makes me want to puke. Sheila Draper, a joke for sure, she doesn't know work. Mary Rebecca, except her products weren't launched in sync with her show. The rollout was a disaster from a merchandising perspective. And on it goes. There aren't a huge amount of comments, as there often are with these matters. So far there's only 82. There are a few sugary ones thrown in there, but they're very much in the minority. The prevailing view is she doesn't know what she's talking about. She isn't a proper businesswoman. But one aspect that is demonstrated was when she came to be talking about financial independence. And I'm going to play you the clip. Watch her eyes as she's speaking.
What's the importance of financial independence to you?
Well, financial independence is what gives you the freedom of choice. And I think in this day and age, we all need to be able to have our autonomy. That is a huge element of that. Financial literacy, for that reason, is something that I spend a lot of time on, specifically for young girls and their empowerment. And I think as women, especially in a room like this, we can all probably agree that as women, when we're supporting each other for all of these elements that might not necessarily be the ones that people want to hear us talk about, there's nothing taboo. Doesn't need to be anything taboo about talking about our financial independence or our independence overall. And as women, when we support each other, we are not simply supporting each other's lives, we're supporting each other's legacies. And that's the piece that's so powerful. When I'm supporting or investing in another female founder, I am investing in what she is going to do for the culture, for her business, the legacy she's going to.
What's the importance of financial independence to you?
Let's start with what she said. The question was, what's the importance of financial independence to you? Her answer? Well, financial independence is what gives you the freedom of choice. Looks to the audience as if to say, isn't that right, gang? Nobody does anything. There's no response. There's no murmur of consent or affirmation. And I think in this day and age, we all need to be able to have our autonomy. That is a huge element of that. Financial literacy, for that reason, is something I spend a lot of time on, specifically for young girls and their empowerment. And I think as women, especially in a room like this, we can all probably agree, as women, when we're supporting each other, for all of these elements might not necessarily be the ones people want to hear us talk about. There's nothing taboo, doesn't need to be anything taboo about talking about our financial independence or independence overall. And as women, we support each other. We are not simply supporting each other's lives, we're supporting each other's legacies. And that's the piece that's so powerful. When I'm supporting or investing in another female founder, I'm investing in what she's going to do for the culture, for her business, the legacy she's going. Right. Did any of that make sense to you? Of course, what it actually sounds like is somebody's gone and got the big bag of wokish phrases. Female empowerment, women, as women, room like this, probably agree, all of the elements. And then they just get thrown at a fridge, and then she reads out what sticks, and that becomes her answer. It's astonishing how ridiculous this all sounds. It's a series of phrases which she thinks sound good, but are meaningless. But you'll have noticed that as she's talking, she does a lot of blinking. There is the usual articulation with her hands, but she blinks a lot as she's talking. And the reason for that is she doesn't really understand what she's saying. I don't mean it in the sense of what do these words mean. It's just that she doesn't actually have a meaningful answer of her own, because she lacks that by virtue of not being particularly bright. And she lacks the ability to provide an appropriate answer because she's empty on the inside. This is why, for instance, you get her repeatedly mentioning when I was 11, because she hasn't got anything else to talk about. And even that experience is a character trait acquisition because it was a class project and she's revised history. So when she's talking, she doesn't actually have anything of substance to tell you because she's empty on the inside. And therefore, when she's speaking, she doesn't really understand what she's saying. And because she doesn't understand what she's saying, that amounts to a threat to her need for control. And because her narcissism recognizes that this is a threat to her control, it makes her feel anxious. So she starts engaging in the rapid blinking. Some people think that her rapid blinking is as a consequence of her recognizing that she's telling lies. But what you must remember, that as an unaware narcissist, she doesn't know that she's lying because the narcissism doesn't allow her to know this. This is something I've made clear throughout a lot of my work, and I'm not going to go through it all again, but simply understand this, that for an unaware narcissist like this one's wife, her lies are her truth. She has to believe her lies. Therefore, when she says something that's untrue, she believes that it is actually true. But when she starts answering questions like this, we've seen before, she's terrible at thinking on her feet. She's only marginally better when it comes to scripted answers, or, for instance, where she's giving a speech. Her speeches are boring because they're all about her. but she doesn't experience the same level of anxiety because there isn't as great a threat to control in those circumstances. But here, where she's having to remember what she has to say, although she's been given the questions beforehand, she's having to recall the answers. She's not actually drawing on anything authentic. She's not drawing on an actual belief because there isn't one there, because she's empty. And so what happens is that the narcissism tries to cobble together an answer, which then invariably comes out as this haphazard word salad, which she doesn't fully understand what she's saying, with the consequence that that is a threat to her need for control. Her narcissism makes her feel anxious as a consequence of that, and thus you get this robotic appearance with the repeated blinking. And that's why she blinks as much as she does. It's a symptom of the perception of a threat to control, which generates anxiety within her because she simply doesn't know what she's talking about. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for watching.